Hi, friends. So I'm going to do Mystery Science number 5 for you so you can take notes. I unfortunately left my lab book at home, but I have the experiment paper, so I will fill this out. So here are the supplies you're going to need if you choose to do this on your own at home. I'm going to be the cup commander and the bag boss today. I'm going to attempt both of the jobs. So you're going to need your lab book. You will need a plate, Ziploc snack bag, a Dixie cup, some scissors, spoons, and vinegar, and baking soda. Okay. So the first step I'm going to do is, I'm looking right now to make sure I'm doing everything right. I have the
Decide who will be the bag boss and who will be the cup commander.
The Mystery Science open. Okay. So
cup commander, squash your cup flat like this. Then cut across it like this.
Okay,
your cup is taller than what you need, so you're modifying it, just like a scientist or engineer.
I am modifying.
After you cut it, shape it into a cup again and put it on the plate. Then, bag boss, put 1 spoonful of baking soda into the cup like this.
Okay, so now I'm going to take my baking soda and I'm going to, this is the bag boss job, take 1 spoonful of baking soda, put it into the cup like so. There we go. Next step.
Bag boss, hold the bag open on the plate like this. Cup commander, spoon 6 spoonfuls of vinegar into the bag. Be careful, don't spill the vinegar.
Okay. So now I need to spoon 6 spoonfuls of vinegar into the bag. So I have a container of vinegar that I brought from home. And because it's open, I think that will be easier to spoon from there. Okay, so you might need to just pour out some vinegar into a cup. This is going to be really smelly. I had to do it. Okay, so I'm going to put 6 spoonfuls into my bag. This is tricky because it's all by myself. I might do 7 just in case because my spoons, I'm not filling it full. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to do just a little more because my first spoonful was not that full. Okay, so 6 spoonfuls of my vinegar, white distilled vinegar, into the bag. Now let's see what our next step is.
Bag boss, keep holding the bag open.
I'm going to keep the bag open.
Carefully set the cup in the bag so that it's level.
And I'm going to carefully set
bag boss,
the cup in the bag.
Hold the bag so the baking soda doesn't spill. And cup commander, zip the bag closed.
I'm zipping the bag closed.
Double check. You want to make sure it's closed.
I don't want anything to spill, so I have the baking soda still up. And make sure it is really closed. Okay. Okay, now I have my plate. Next step. Check one more time that it's close.
When the baking soda and vinegar mix.
I'm going to dump
bag
it.
Boss, check one more time that the bag is zipped. Then turn it over to dump out the baking soda and quickly set the bag on the plate.
Okay, so I'm going to dump this to quickly set the baking soda. So I want the baking soda to come out of the cup and mix with the vinegar. And we're going to see what happens when I do this. Are you ready, folks? I'm a little nervous. Okay, here we go. I'm waiting for it to explode. Oh my. Okay, it didn't explode. But look at it. You probably could hear it fizzle, hopefully. The bag is completely full of air. So very interesting that I had a liquid and a solid, and when I put them together, they made a gas. So I'm going to do this experiment one more time. First, I'm going to start answering some questions on my Mystery Science Capturing Chaos. So you have this in your lab book. I unfortunately left my lab book at home, so I'm going to fill it out as a paper. In my lab book at home, I cut this in half, and so I have one on one paper and one on the other. So number one, describe what happened when you mix baking soda and vinegar in your sealed bag. So we definitely had a reaction. And I'm going to say it looks like a gas was created because the bag was filled up. It did not explode or pop, but it was very close. You can see even right now, there's not a lot of room in here. So I'm going to describe what happened when you mix baking soda and vinegar in your sealed bag. There was a reaction. The baking soda and vinegar created a gas when mixed. So I'm trying to write fast so you can see what I wrote. Okay, so there was a reaction. The baking soda and vinegar created a gas when they were mixed. Number two, think about why that happened. Draw a picture or pictures below that show what you think made that happen. Write labels and captions if you need them to make your ideas clearer. You can include things that are too small to see. I'm going to do a couple pictures. I'm going to start with the bag in the beginning. I'm going to go kind of as like a step one, step two, and then what happened in the end. So in the beginning, there was nothing. I'm going to draw my bag with the liquid and then the cup of the baking soda. So I'm going to write baking soda. Remember, you can draw one picture. You can draw a few like I am. Here's my white vinegar. Okay, and so I'm going to put no reaction. Now, here's the top of the bag. Now I'm going to put the bottom of the bag, and I'm going to put vinegar. I'm going to put my baking soda down. Okay, so I have the baking soda mixes with vinegar. And then my final picture, I'm going to try and make it even kind of three-dimensional. I'm going to put bag expands and almost pops. So here's the top of the bag again. And I'm going to draw, I do have a mixture at the bottom. Okay, so these two, the baking soda and the vinegar combined, mixed together. But then I still have this gas in here taking up. So at the bottom, I'm going to put baking soda plus vinegar. And then I'm going to put gas. I'm going to put little bubbles around here to show that it is expanding. Okay. So for the experiment number 2, Doug wants us to see if we can do it again, but this time make the bag pop. So if you did it the first time and your bag popped, he wants you to challenge yourself to make it so it almost pops. And if it almost pops, he wants to challenge you to see if you can make it pop. I think we can make it pop, although I'm a little nervous. So my goal this time is to make the bag pop or explode. Hopefully you can read this okay. Make the bag explode or pop. I just love that name, that word. Last time I used 6 spoons of vinegar and 1 spoon of baking soda. What will I do differently this time? That's a great question, Doug. I think what I'm going to do is, obviously, we were almost there, so I'm going to add a little bit of both. So I might put in 1.5 spoons of baking soda and maybe 8 or 9 spoons of vinegar. So let's try that. And if it doesn't work, we can do another ratio. So I'm going to put 8 spoons of vinegar and let's do 1.5 spoons of baking soda. And I am writing in pencil in case I make a mistake. Let me push this down so you can see my notes better. Making it worse. So I'm going to try and make the bag explode or pop. I want a little more gas. And then what I'm going to do is 8 spoons of vinegar and 1.5 spoonfuls of baking soda. Okay, and remember, you can draw, your picture does not need to look like mine. I'm pretty sure it probably looks a little bit fancier. Okay, so here we go. Time to do it again. So I take my cup, I'm going to cut the top off because we want it to fit into our bag. So I have to be the cup commander and the bag boss right now. And I'm going to take my baking soda spoon. And I said 1.5. I'm going to go 2. So I'm going to change it. And I'm going to go 2 spoons of baking soda. I just really want there to be an explosion. So I'm hoping. And I'm going to go 9 spoons of vinegar. Now you can see why I used pencil. Okay, now take my bag. So I'm getting a fresh bag. I'm going to set my baking soda to the side. And I'm going to spoon in 9 spoonfuls of the vinegar. And if I have a small spoonful, then I'll just go a little more. So that was 1. And I'm down to the bottom, so the spooning is going to be a little trickier. 2. I'm going to say 2.5. 3. 4. Ooh. 5. 6. 6.5. 7. I think we're going to have just a perfect amount. 7.5. 8. And then you can see I don't have much left, so I'm going to end up just pouring that in. So 9, about 9. I would say yes, because my spoons were a little less than full. Okay, now is time to drop in the soda. Now, like Doug has said a few times, you want to make sure everything is zipped and locked before we turn the bag upside down. So I went over a few times, making sure. Okay, so we've got our solid baking soda. We have our liquid vinegar. We know that this is an acid and things do react to it. We know baking soda and vinegar have a reaction. Now let's see that if we added a little more of each into this bag, if we can make it pop. It is the same bag, same size that I used last time. So I added 2 spoonfuls of baking soda and 3 spoonfuls of vinegar. Okay, counting down. Ready? And flip time. It didn't pop. Drats. I'm a little sad. It is so close to popping. I'm going to just kind of mix it up in there a little more. It didn't pop. Okay, so friends, I can't just not have an explosion. I'm going to go for one more time. Okay. All right. This is what it is. What happened? Why do you think that happened? Well, it didn't pop, but look at how close we are to popping. I think we needed a little more. So compared to this one, you can see the bags. This definitely has more space in there. This one is like, so you know what this means. We're going to have to go for round 3, final bag. It is the same size. It just doesn't have the green at the top. So here we go. Let me get a cup. And instead of 2 spoons, I'm putting 3. Instead of 9, I'm going to put, let's go for 11. Okay. Now, what I might notice if I'm keeping the ratios the same, that I may need to add more vinegar or maybe more baking soda. That could be a reason why I didn't get the explosions. So I just did about 3, a little less than 3, 2.5. So let me just pump that up a bit. And then, so I did 3 spoons, and then instead of 9, I'm going to go for about 12. So I have to get this and fill this because I ran out the last time. So I'm going to take my vinegar. I'm going to pour it into the container, the plastic. And then I'm ready for my spoons. Man, I really want an explosion for this. So here we go. Baking soda, vinegar, 12 spoons. Oops. 1. That's like a half. You know what? Let's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I'm going to put a little more in just because I really want the effects. So we're going to go 13, 14. So I have 14 spoonfuls, roughly, and 3 spoonfuls of the baking soda. So I need to be very careful because I have a lot more liquid in there. I don't want it to react before I can get the zips locked. Okay, here we go. And we are flipping it. Yay! We got an explosion. I'm sure you heard it. And there it is, folks. The gas that was created punctured through, and we have a good tear in our plastic Ziploc bag. So, I'm going to make sure I put this in my notes. So, what happened? Why do you think that happened? Well, I'm going to erase this because I want to talk about the explosion one. Now, you could say I don't think we had enough in the bag to create an explosion. But I'm going to put, so we had 3 spoonfuls and about 13. That means about. So what happened? The bag popped. Yay. The bag exploded. I think the gas created caused pressure within the bag. And I don't think there was enough room. And it created a rip. Okay, the gas escaped. There didn't seem to be enough room in the bag. So thanks for sticking with me. This was probably a longer experiment than I'd planned on. But I put the bag exploded. You could also talk about the time that it did not explode the second time. But the reason why the bag exploded with more baking soda and more vinegar is it created more gas, which created more pressure, which then the bag could not hold. So kind of like when you blow a balloon up, right? At a certain point, if you're blowing the balloon up and it gets too filled with the gas, it will pop. I am going to end the video. Remember, your notes might look different than mine. Just make sure you followed along. And hopefully you had a chance to do this at home because it's pretty fun. Bye, friends.